just say that a miracle is
No,
going
you're
to be
not. You're
something.
not talking about a miracle right now. You're confused.
Wait, I'm
What
not
you're supposed to
defining
be doing
miracles.
is demonstrating that a supernatural thing exists.
Yeah, a supernatural thing exists. It's going to be something not provided evidence or not explained through the natural world.
Okay,
Correct?
no. You need to demonstrate that a supernatural thing exists. You're not supposed to be asking me questions.
Wait,
So,
I'm not
can you
asking you a
provide a
question.
demonstration that supernatural things exist?
Sure, sure, like a case of a miracle.
No.
Would you want that?
No, because again, you're trying to. Okay, you're getting circular now, Zach. What you're trying to say is that miracles are explained by supernatural things. You can't then say that supernatural things are demonstrated by miracles, because then you create a circle that supernatural things are demonstrated by miracles, which are demonstrated by, or which are evidence of supernatural things. You're supposed to be providing the evidence of the supernatural things that supernatural things do exist. So then we're justified in positing a supernatural thing as an explanation for a miracle.
Good. Okay, that's why I'm defining supernatural so we could
No, you're not supposed
imply
to be
that it.
defining supernatural. You're supposed to
Okay,
be
then how would
providing a
you? Wait, how does
demonstration
that
that
follow?
supernatural things exist.
Yeah, yeah. A demonstration can be an explanation. Are you okay?
Not a definition.
A definition. Yeah, that's what I'm
A
implying. The
definition is not a
explanation.
demonstration.
Yeah, we can imply that. You know that, right? Are you tracking?
No, we're not talking about implications. We're talking about demonstrations.
Demonstrations. You would have to elaborate because using demonstration in colloquial sense doesn't apply to defining miracles or explanation of something metaphysical.
Okay, so that had nothing to do with anything that I've said. Clearly, you're
Okay,
not
then
able to
wait.
track. What
Wait,
is
hey,
it
are
that I'm?
you
What is
sure? Are you
what is it that
serious?
I'm asking you to do right now,
Yeah,
Zach?
you're asking for a demonstration, but that doesn't make
No,
sense.
what? Just tell me
Wait, are you?
specifically what I'm asking you to
Okay,
do right
hold
now.
on, hold on, hold on. Stop cutting.
Tell
Yes,
me
yes.
specifically
You
what I'm
said
asking you to do right now, or I'm
yes. You're
dropping you.
asking for. Hold on. Yeah, you're asking for a demonstration, which doesn't
Okay, so
follow
since you
since the.
can't repeat back to me what I'm actually asking you for,
I
I
just
know
told
that
you.
you're not tracking, so I'm just going to move on to the next person. Don't bother coming back. You don't
I
have the boots
just
for this
told
hype.
you.
You didn't tell me. You in fact very specifically didn't tell me. Okay. All right. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, uh oh. Hey, apparently I'm a pirate now. Thank you, Casey. Um hmm. I mean, I can size it down a bit, but I don't really want to like. Mm. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Well, whatever. We're gonna have to hope that that's good enough. I like keeping it in the center. I know that like TikTok moves it um when people come up here, but there's not really anything I can do about that. Okay, so if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a god. Hi,
Hey,
Alec. How
brother,
old are
how
you?
are you? Oh, hi. I'm 33. 34 today, actually.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Do you believe in a god?
Yes, I believe in the Abrahamic God, but I reject the triune God.
Yeah, so specifically, which version of the Abrahamic God do you believe in?
That he is a man, that he has a son, that
Nope.
there's a Holy Ghost.
Nope, that wasn't. Okay, so.
Oh, sorry. The denomination? I'm a Latter-day Saint, sir.
Okay, so this does not bode well for you, Alec. This does not bode well for you at all. If I'm asking you a direct question, I just need a direct answer, not this like run around of like things adjacently related to it, okay? Is that fair?
Pardon me. I misunderstood. I have autism, so pardon me.
I'm autistic too. What are we going to do about it? In fact, the fact that you're autistic should make it easier for you to be direct, my dude. As an autistic person, that would be my expectation.
Oh, I understand.
Okay, so what is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a god?
When I was agnostic atheist, what really jarred me out of it is there's impossible levels of order in every facet of reality.
So what's the evidence or argument that a god exists? Like just
Well,
pointing
how do
out
we
things that you think are cool or like that you don't know how to explain, that isn't an argument and that's not evidence. So what you need to do is either present an argument where you're giving a series of points that follow some kind of inference, so that the conclusion God exists would be a natural conclusion to draw from the points that you've made, or you're providing some evidence and then explaining how, because this thing exists, here is the line of reasoning that necessarily follows from the existence of that thing, and the natural conclusion is that God exists.
Order to the point where it's literally less than 1% for all of it to occur repeatedly in a sequence that is necessary for life to exist over and over again.
So what you should be saying, Alec, is something that concludes, therefore God exists. So if your sentence,
Okay.
if your explanation, if your presentation of your argument or evidence doesn't conclude, therefore God exists, you're fucking up. So far, Alec, you've been fucking up. I need you to get your shit together.
Rather, there's no other way to explain this order and design.
Okay, that's
There's
just an
no
appeal
way.
to your own incredulity and ignorance. I'm not going to base my opinions, my beliefs, or my positions on your incredulity and ignorance. So again, you need to be presenting something that concludes, therefore God exists, and not, I don't know the answer, therefore I want to believe God exists.
You need to actually listen to my words and not twist them around. Order needs to come from somewhere. You can't get order from chaos. And the possibility for this level of order is impossible.
You didn't end, therefore God exists. So continue until you end, therefore God exists.
Very well. In order for this level of design to occur down to the point that we have now, where it's necessary, otherwise everything falls apart, necessitates a designer, ergo, a deity.
Okay, I mean that's a claim. What would be the demonstration that that's the only explanation or the best explanation?
Pick a law of the universe. You can just pick any, like the nuclear force. If it was even a little bit different, no life. You can pick gravitational force. If it was a little bit different, no life. You can go over and over.
Yeah, you're supposed to be explaining how this gets us to a God, not just demanding that it must get us to a God. Because what you're saying is, this thing exists, therefore I'm concluding a God exists, but you're missing all of the middle steps. You still need to do all of the middle steps.
Very well. Are you okay if I use an analogy?
No, you need to just demonstrate that what you're saying is accurate. Demonstrate that a God exists. Provide the line of reasoning that gets from the factors or the natural laws or whatever to God.
Of course. So like the nuclear force, gravitational forces, these fundamental forces, if you had each one at like 100 different dials, and there's only one dial for each force that could allow life, each one of these forces is at the correct dial that you need for life to occur. Is it more possible that it's all by chance or that someone messed with the dials?
I don't know how long you need me to wait for you to actually address what I'm asking you to do, Alec.
I have, but you
haven't addressed anything that I'm asking you to do.
You've conceded. You've conceded.
I've conceded. Oh, wow. Unable to support his position, unable to do anything more than just make claims, and then just runs away when I don't automatically accept it. Wow. What a compelling argument. Oh, I was about to offer to just give an argument myself since he clearly wasn't capable of doing it. But then he ran away. So fair enough. I love you've conceded. What a banger. What a banger argument. Oh, you stupid fuck. That's so annoying. Okay, so if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you actually have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God.
Hey, how's it going, over?
Hi, Jay. How old are you?
25.
Cool. Do you believe in a God?
Oh, I believe in an architect.
Okay, but did you hear the question that I asked you?
I do not believe in a God in the form of like an Abrahamic religious God or something like that.
Did you hear the question that I asked you, Jay?
Yeah, I hope I did.
Okay, well, what was the question that I asked you?
Do I believe in a God? Which one? There's like over 1,000. There's like thousands of them.
I asked, do you believe in a God? That's a yes or no question. So the answer should simply be yes or no. Do you believe in a God?
Yeah, I guess I would say so.
Okay, cool. And which God do you believe in?
I wouldn't say a religious God. I would just say I believe in.
Did you hear the question that I asked you, Jay?
Yeah, have you heard of Ozempic?
Did you hear the question that I asked you?
Do you believe in a diet?
So what you're going to do, Jay, because you don't have an argument and
You know
you
it's
can't even
crazy?
demonstrate, you can't even
Look at
define your own
shirt.
position.
You're like 40 years old wearing a fucking superhero on your shirt. That's crazy. Of
You
course
don't
you
know
believe
who
in God.
Pinhead is? You think Pinhead is a superhero?
Look. Maybe if you got off Jesus,
So
you can
what
be
you're
on
saying
yours.
is that you can't give an argument. You
Bro,
can't
you
even
can't even
define
see
your
his
own
dick, bro. I
position.
wouldn't believe
And
in
so the
God
best
either.
thing that you can do is try to
That's
insult
crazy.
me. So you think that what you're doing right now is showing everybody
Yeah,
that
titty
atheists
boy.
are the bad
Yeah,
ones?
titty boy.
You're
Yeah,
showing
titty boy.
everybody right now, aren't you?
Yeah, titty
Man,
boy.
everybody's really taking away from this how great theism is and how great theists are and how much they really want theists in their
Bro,
life.
why your headphones still got fucking cords on them, bro? This is 2026, bro. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Get it
What an
together.
amazing argument. Do you have any arguments for God?
Damn, imagine being fat and broke.
Do you have any arguments for God?
Who broke your heart?
So this is the best you got, huh?
Do you have any arguments to defend why it's okay to be obese morbidly?
So you got nothing?
Ogar. No wonder
So
why
you
you
notice
start
how
with an O.
everybody
You
here,
built like
there's
a O.
130 people watching right now, and this is what you give them. This is what you want people to think of you.
Yo, when you talk to somebody like that, you got what's coming to you.
What's coming to
Buffet
me?
bandit.
Nothing's coming
Yeah,
to me.
buffet
Only you know
bandit.
what's coming to me right now. I get to laugh at you. So
Black.
actually being so fat and ugly and broke has actually done me a huge service because I get this amazing free entertainment. All I had to do is come on TikTok, and then clowns like you jump up here and do everything they can to dance for us and make us laugh.
And then
Thank you
get
for being such a
roasted in
great
front of
jester, Jay.
130
Now,
people.
do you
That's
actually
crazy.
want to discuss substance, or are you just a little bitch?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just a little bitch.
Okay, fair enough. I agree. Granted. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, my hope is to talk about God. Yeah, I don't know in what world Pinhead is a superhero. I have no idea. All right. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God. Okay. Give me one quick second. I want to... Oh, after we got Jay, so exciting. We've got my biggest fan back. Well, I'm sorry, Butter and Jelly. I know you really want to fuck me, but I'm going to move on to the next person. I'm not going to bring you up again. I'm really sorry to disappoint you. But if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you actually have some reason to believe in God. Hi, David. How old are you?
I'm 40.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
I do.
Okay. And which God do you believe in?
It's gonna be Jesus Christ.
Okay. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
I can't lie, man. I'm a 40-year-old fucking virgin loser, man. Never even kissed a woman before.
Okay. Well, fair enough. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're an adult and you actually have some reason to believe in God that you can present. Hi, Andrew. How old are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, I'm 18.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
I do.
Which God do you believe in? What God do you believe in?
Jesus.
Okay. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God?
So, I kind of come here with a neutral standpoint, and I'd like to address like one thing there. So you're on TikTok, debating.
So we're just looking for arguments or evidence. Do you have anything like that, or should I move on?
No. I just wanna say one thing. Okay.
Okay. No. So the next thing that you say is either going to be your argument or your evidence, or I'm going to move on. We're not doing meta here. We're not doing any of that kind of stuff.
Well, there really is no evidence in a
Okay.
faith.
Fair enough. I agree. There is no evidence for God. I'm glad that you've seen the light. There is no evidence, so I need to talk about meta. That's really going to help everybody believe in your God. Good job. Yeah, so again, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, JT. How old are you?
21.
Do you believe in a God?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is it the Christian God?
Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Yes, it is.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
Alright, so I'm gonna keep it as basic as possible. Basically, when somebody is possessed, the only thing that could save them is the cross of Jesus. Meaning that if this cross can't save somebody out of possession, that means God has to be real if demons are real.
How did you demonstrate that demons are real?
I mean, like, we walk amongst demons every day. You just
Yeah,
don't
that just
know.
assumes that they're real. How did you demonstrate that they are real?
I mean, the father that from my church, he was telling us a story about like his exorcist.
Yeah, I know that a
friend.
lot of people tell stories. I'm asking how you actually demonstrated that demons exist, not that people have told stories or that other people believe demons exist. I agree with you that people believe demons exist, but I don't agree that demons exist. So you don't need to provide me evidence that people believe in demons. You need to provide me evidence that demons actually exist in reality.
So you're gonna tell me you don't believe demons exist?
Not only am I going to tell you that, I already told you that.
Nah, you wildin'. Cause what about all these
So
evil
what would
people
be
in
the
the world?
demonstration that demons exist?
I don't know. Somebody that's possessed. One, two.
How do you know that
somebody
anybody's
doing-
ever been possessed?
Because it's obvious. I mean, like you.
Well, it's
know
not
when
obvious
someone's
to me.
possessed.
I've seen lots of possession videos and exorcism videos, and as far as I can tell, it's all bullshit. So how did you determine that somebody was actually
You could
possessed?
say it's bullshit, but if you
Yeah, it's obvious.
experience-
It's obvious that it's bullshit, JT. So since you think it's obvious that demons are real, and I think it's obvious that demons are bullshit, obviously we're at an impasse when it comes to what's obvious. So you're going to need to provide something beyond just what you think is obvious.
My question to you is, how do you think we even made to planet Earth? Do you believe in the Big Bang Theory? Like, how do you think that we came
Okay, that's
to be humans?
I understand that you're afraid because you know you can't support your position, but that isn't a reason to pivot. So what you're supposed to be doing is supporting your position. What would be one argument or one piece of evidence that would provide a reason to believe in a God?
I don't know, like,
I grant that you don't know. I grant that you don't have any reasons to believe in God.
No, I do have a reason.
Oh, okay. Then what's the reason?
I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I believed in God, but like, you know,
That's
God
not a
saved
reason
my
to
life.
believe in something. Lots of people
Well,
believe in
I
other
believe
things
in
since they were
God
little kids.
Because God has saved my life over 1 million times.
Over
by
1
a
million
simple
times?
prayer. Over 1 million times.
Wow.
Every day. Every day he's with me. Jesus, that's
So-
my
So how
That's
many
my
times a
father
day?
right
How
there.
many times a day does God save your life?
24 hours of the day, yeah. 100%.
No, how many times per day does God save your life?
That's what I answered that question all day. The fact that I get home safe, the fact that I'm not in a car accident, the fact that I'm still alive.
Okay,
God
why would
is
you
with me.
why would you get into a car accident if God didn't exist?
You never know. Things happen. I mean, God lets things happen. That's what I believe.
Yeah, you're saying
And I
that you
know-
don't know, but if you don't know, then obviously this isn't justification for your position. So either you do know and you can provide a demonstration of, you know, that you would have gotten into a car accident if God didn't exist, and then it would support your position, or if you're going to just say, well, I don't know if I would have gotten into a car accident, well, then this isn't evidence for your position.
All I know is it says in the Bible in the beginning.
It says in the
was
Bible.
Word.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have any
Exactly.
arguments. You don't have any evidence. All you can do is say, well, other people believe this. Somebody wrote a book about it. Well, those aren't reasons to believe anything. So
But
I
that
appreciate
book-
you trying, but obviously you don't have anything. It's unfortunate. So again, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus, and then you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. All right. Hi, Carrie. How old are you?
Hi, I am 56 years old, probably the oldest one here.
Do you believe in a God?
I do believe in a God.
All right, which one?
I would say the God and Jesus,
Okay, so the Christian God?
Christian God, but I also, yes, but I also believe in that there could be more out there.
And what would you say
From
is the
both
best
of you, Mark?
argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
Well, when I was younger, I used to see spirits.
Okay, so you used to
My
hallucinate. That doesn't provide any
No, I did
evidence.
not hallucinate.
How did you
I
determine that they
understand.
were real spirits?
Well, it was a woman in my room.
How did you determine it was
Um,
a real spirit?
because it was like it happened yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I'm
That could also
56.
be the case with a
No, I
hallucination. So how did you determine
listen.
that it was a
Okay,
real spirit?
okay. Let me just explain. It was not. It was a spirit.
How did you
Okay,
determine that it was a spirit?
because it was white and it was a
Okay, so you're saying
woman.
hallucinations cannot be white women? Nobody could possibly ever
No, no,
hallucinate a
no.
white woman?
Outlined in white. No, it was in the middle of the night. And I
Okay,
also
so
want
you're
to say
saying
that
that
my
this is
son.
something that's
And I also
impossible for
want to
someone to
also say that
hallucinate?
my.
Carrie, hello.
No, what I'm.
You said that you're,
Sir,
you're an older adult. It seems like you should be able to, track what's happening in this conversation. Do you understand what I'm
okay.
asking you right now?
I'm sharing. I do understand what you're asking me,
Okay,
and I'm
what is
just
it that I'm
sharing my
asking you for?
experience with
No, I
you.
don't want you to share your
You're
experience.
asking me. Okay, you're asking me proof if there is a God, basically.
No, I'm
So
asking
the
you for
proof.
evidence for God, and your evidence for God is that you've seen spirits. So
Well,
now what you're supposed to be doing is providing a demonstration that you actually that whatever you experienced actually was a spirit. And what I do not want, Carrie, I do not want to hear your story. I do not want to hear about the
okay,
experience. All that matters to
okay,
me is the method that you used to determine that it was actually a spirit.
okay. It's just that I knew, and obviously I
Right, but
can't.
if
I
you were
wish I
having
could have taken a photo.
isn't
I
it
wish I could have
possible
taken a
isn't
photo
it
and.
possible for someone to have a hallucination but feel like the hallucination is real?
Um, I suppose it's true, but
Okay,
I
so
can
if it's
honestly
possible,
tell you
Carrie,
that
Carrie,
okay.
I don't need a whole long soliloquy. I'm trying to make a point here. If it's
I
possible,
understand what you're saying,
hold on,
sir.
Carrie.
I
Hold
do.
on. Calm down. I know
I'm not,
since,
sir. You're the one that's getting out of, sir. You're the one that's
Carrie,
really
do you
getting
know
it
how
out
to
of
have a
shut. Not
conversation?
me.
Do you understand that when someone
I
else is talking and trying to keep the conversation on track, that interrupting is counterproductive?
okay. You know what? I'm gonna let you go. You're
Okay,
very
thank you.
rude.
Yep, take care.
Yeah.
Don't
Take
come
care.
back. Okay, so obviously there was no argument there. There was no evidence. um, okay, yeah. So I'm just looking for folks who can actually engage and can actually like answer the questions that they're asked, not pretend that they were asked a different question. So if you are 18 plus, or excuse me, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Demiurge, how old are you?
Hi, I'm 27.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. What's up?
Do you believe in a God?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Which one?
I believe in I guess the Christian God, yeah. Is it okay if I can ask you questions really quick?
As I'm always saying,
'Cause
before I bring anybody up, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence. So you knew before requesting, you knew before being brought up that you're supposed to be presenting an argument or evidence. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do.
okay, I wanted to preface with like
No preface,
any
no
Christian.
no preface, no preface, no preamble, none of that. Just the argument or evidence. If you start with a
Okay.
preface, if you start with a preamble, I'm just going to move on.
Well, my stance is that any Christian that comes up here and
Okay,
tries
so
to
this
give
is the
you
preface. This is the preface, Demiurge. Give me the argument or the evidence, or I'm moving on. Fair enough. All right. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Thanks everybody for the shares and the likes and everything and the tap in the screen. I appreciate it. I always forget to talk about this stuff, but I do have over here now. I do have a YouTube channel if you guys want to watch over there. It is youtube.com/AdOgarDebates. I also have a Discord, and you can access the invite to that at tinyurl.com/OgarDebates. Another thing that I have started doing here recently, if anybody wants to join like as a super fan or whatever on here, and then join the Discord, you will get access to a members only area and my arguments and things like that. So obviously not something that's going to be super attractive to everybody, but if that is at all attractive to you, that option is open. But yeah, thanks everybody for the like I said, the shares, the tapping the screen, all that stuff, the comments, and of course the gifts. Thank you, Andre and Bertram, Poopman Jones, Alan, KC, Bradley Cooper, Lem, Mikey, Lupine, Raw Meat, Bradley, the other Bradley, Poopman Jones again, 3 pips, Faded Memory, Mikey, V, Andre. Thank you guys sincerely. I genuinely appreciate it. Means a lot to me, and it helps me do things like when I use the funds that I've gotten from you guys supporting to buy a camera. That camera turned out to be shit, as we've seen on my last few streams. And so, as I was saying before, I got frustrated after last night's stream, ordered a new camera at like 11 o'clock p.m., and it was delivered while I was at work today. So I have a much better camera for the stream now. So thank you guys for the support so that I can do stuff like that and try to continue improving the stream. All right, so I will move on to the next person. Looks like we have Wayne, and then we'll a few more people after that, and we'll see if we can get to everybody. Hi, Wayne. How old are you?
44.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
I believe in a higher power or spiritual source. Let's say that.
Okay. It was a yes or no question. Do you believe in a God?
Yes.
Okay. And which God do you believe in?
I believe in source.
You're breaking up. What did you say? Hello.
There's source. There's something.
Okay, you're breaking up really bad.
Has a name.
Yeah, you're breaking up really
You know
bad.
what I mean?
I can't hear you. I just need you to tell me what God you believe in.
I'm sorry. Source.
Okay. Well, maybe you'll have to come back when you get a better connection. I cannot hear you. You're breaking up really bad. I think you said the source, which really isn't an answer to the question anyway, but what are you going to do? Okay, so yeah, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God. Let me try this out here. Okay.
Aldar, you're a fat coward, dude.
What?
You're a fat coward.
Okay, well, fair enough. Do you want to have the conversation, or are you just a troll?
I'm trying to debate you numerous times, dude. You always kick me because you're too scared.
Well, I mean, when you come up and you act like a bitch, yeah, you're going to get kicked. If you came up and you just had the conversation, then you wouldn't get kicked.
Kicked me last time in the middle of my argument, bro. You said I wasn't giving you an argument. I was giving you an argument, buddy.
So how old are you?
I'm not doing this. 28.
I'm not doing this, as he says, as he does it. And what God do you believe in?
Nah, I refuse to answer. You're just going to kick me anyway.
Okay, so
might as well kick, you might as well kick me now.
So obviously you want to get kicked, right? Because if you didn't want to get kicked, then you would just engage in the conversation so we could have the debate.
You remember me, dude. You know who I am. You know me damn well.
I have no idea who you are. At first, when I looked up your last name, I had somebody with a different first name but same last name who was really good faith, so I was all excited when I brought you up.
That's
and then
me.
You came up here an asshole.
That's me. Yeah, Grayson Bottacini.
No.
We had a conversation.
A different Bottacini, you moron. I said a different first name.
There's no dude, Bottacini. That's me. Benjamin Bottacini. That's my middle name.
What's he doing?
Yeah.
So do you want to? So do you want to have the debate or not?
I refuse. We're past lovers, past friends, but now we're enemies.
Okay. Well, I mean, hey, if you know that you would lose in a debate against me, and so this is your tactic to try to make it seem like I'm the one kicking you. I mean, you can do that. I mean, everybody's going to see what a little bitch you are, but you can do that. Or would you rather, instead of being a little bitch, actually give an argument?
Dude, you're not going to gaslight me, bro.
Oh, gaslighting you. That's what I'm doing. Yes, I'm gaslighting you by pointing out what's happening. How dare I?
Also, you're not fat. You're thick with 2 C's.
I'm fat as fuck. Everybody knows it.
No, you're
so
not fat,
do you have any argument or evidence, or is this the best that you can do? You want to crash out for Christ?
Might as well drop me now. Love you. Bye.
All right. Crashed out for Christ. Criminy. All right. So yeah, if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you are 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Thank you very much for the support, Midnight Zoomies, Fen Faithless, and V. I sincerely appreciate it. Yeah, I think you're right. Grayson wanted a little smooch. And hey, I'm not opposed to giving a smooch here and there. I don't know that I could do it over the internet, but you know. Anyway, we'll see if we can have an actual debate here. Hey, love it. Oh, you can't see that on YouTube now. That's weird. Okay. Hi, Green. How old are you?
Hey, I'm 18.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
I do.
All right. And which God do you believe in?
Like, Christian God, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm a
sure.
Christian.
And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
It's at this point, like, it's really not like evidence, because there's really no evidence that any God exists for real. But this is what it says. You just have to have faith and just believe there is a God.
Okay, but faith can lead us to true conclusions and it can lead us to false conclusions. But since I only want to believe true things, what I need is some method to get to truth that reliably leads to truth and isn't going to lead me to an untruth. So do you have anything like that? Like, you know, because faith doesn't reliably get us to truth. So what's a method that we can determine God exists that would, you know, that we can rely on to be true?
Wait. Do you believe in any God? Like, do you believe in any God?
No, I'm a rational person.
Okay. So, wait, wouldn't you, like, I really don't understand, like, when believing, like, in no God. Because, like, you really have to believe in something.
Okay,
So,
well, I'm telling you that I don't
got a
believe in
question
any
for you.
gods. So that we've already nailed that down. We've already got that out of the way. What I'm asking for is some reason to believe in a God. If it's so obvious that God exists, if it's so universal and it's something that everybody should believe, then, you know, presumably it would be extremely easy to provide the argument or the evidence that would allow me to conclude that God does exist.
Well, one is the Bible, and two is our existence. Because,
Okay, well, we can only talk about one at a time. How does the Bible demonstrate God? As far as I'm concerned, the Bible is just a claim, and we would need some kind of evidence external to the Bible that would to give us reason to believe what the Bible claims.
Well, in the Bible, it talks about, of course, Christianity and Jesus and how God said.
Yeah, those are all the claims. What I'm asking you for isn't what does the Bible say. What I'm asking you for is what is the evidence that the Bible is a reliable source for truth.
Well, like I said, it's really like, I can't really say, like, it's like really well, I can say it's the truth, but I can't like say like to somebody else it's the truth, because it's really, like I said, it's really just off of faith and personal experience. But I believe in it is because, like, I was raised in a Christian household, and a lot of people like to say, like,
okay, but it doesn't sound like you actually have any kind of argument or evidence, Green. I'm looking for you to, you know, give me some kind of you know, line of reasoning that would, you know, start with a place that we both agree and then end with God exists, or maybe some evidence that you could point to that, you know, like this thing is expected if God exists and it's unexpected if God doesn't exist and we found it in reality, like something like that.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this: existence.
Okay, why would nothing exist if there was no God?
No. Listen, even the people in chat, y'all listen, bro.
You're saying that existence is evidence for God, right?
Yes, it has. Okay. No, it has to be something for existence. Yes.
Right. So if existence is evidence for God, then that means that we wouldn't expect anything to exist unless there's a God. Why wouldn't we expect anything to exist unless there's a God?
No. Okay, like I said, everything comes from one source.
I mean, that's the claim.
Okay.
Okay, what's the evidence for that?
Okay, there's no evidence. There's no need for evidence. Everybody knows everything comes from one thing.
Well, what if I told you? What if I told you that there is no need for evidence? Everybody knows that no gods exist. Would you then believe me that no gods exist?
No.
Right, because that would be a really shitty argument. Unfortunately, Green, it's also a shitty argument when you say it. So what what I'm asking for is not a shitty argument.
No, like I'm saying, the existence.
Right. Why would we think that nothing would exist unless God exists? That's what you need to explain.
No, because God was there first. He made us.
Yeah, that's the claim. Why should I believe that's true?
You should believe that's true but the reason you should believe that's true because everything, like I said, everything comes from one thing.
Yeah, that's the claim again, Green. I already know that's your claim. You don't have to repeat the claim again. I'm already aware of it. I've got it. It's locked away in my head. So what is the evidence that your claim is true? And when you're providing the evidence, you don't need to repeat the claim again.
Like, is this really, like I said, there's really no evidence for nothing. And that's why I agree.
Well, there is evidence. Like, there's evidence that there's no God.
No, but there are.
Yeah, there's lots of evidence that there's no God.
But I could say the same thing. There's evidence for God. If you're gonna say,
what's the evidence for God?
No, like it's faith. Like
that's not evidence.
Yeah, I know it's not, but
okay, you said that there's evidence for God. What's the evidence?
No, I said it's faith. It is not evidence for nothing.
Okay, there is evidence that there are no gods, though. So if there's evidence that there are no gods and there's no evidence that there is a God, then it sounds like the only justified position is that there are no gods.
Just because there is not evidence for something doesn't mean it's not true.
Right, but there's evidence against it. That's what means it's not true.
No, just because evidence is against something and no evidence is for it doesn't mean it's not true.
Yeah, that is what the evidence against a proposition and no evidence for the proposition means that the only reasonable position is to think that that thing doesn't exist.
No, you say think. Like think. That's not.
That's what you focused on there, not the analysis of how we should interpret evidence or how we should, weight our confidence to the
analysis. What you're saying, but I'm saying
what I'm saying, Green. What I'm telling you is your position is that there is no evidence for God. So if we look in the, reasons to believe in God column, that column is empty. Then if we look over to the reasons not to believe in God or reasons to believe that there's no God, that column is brimming. It's overflowing with reasons not to believe in God. There's so many, obviously there's the problem of evil. There's obviously, the contradictions involved in a timeless being creating things. There's the fact that I think you said you were a Christian. Yeah, you did. The Christian religion especially the Christian God can't exist. The Christian religion is self-defeating. There's just so many reasons not to think that there are so many reasons to think that there is no God. And you're admitting there are no reasons to think that there is a God. So if we put that on a scale, right? And we have over here reasons to believe in no God, and we have over here reasons to believe in a God. Well, there's nothing on the reasons to believe in a God, and there's a ton of stuff on the reasons to believe in no God. So it's way down, way heavier, and we should go with the side that's heavier, has the more evidence.
Okay. I'm gonna switch it up. We still stay on topic though. Okay, do you think Jesus was a real person?
I don't have any reason to think that he actually existed. No.
Now look, this is what I'm talking about. There is evidence for Jesus being a real person. And
I don't really care, to be honest. I'm willing to grant it for the sake of the argument that Jesus really existed. I don't think that's relevant. You probably would agree.
Let me get my point. It is relevant because if there's evidence for Jesus and not evidence for God, but it says in the Bible, Jesus is the Son of God, and we have proof of Jesus was a real person. Why don't you believe that God was a real person? God was not a person, but
Now I'm getting reported for harassment and bullying.
Harassment?
Yeah, I just got a notification from TikTok that I was reported for harassment and bullying. I feel like we've been having a pretty good conversation and harassment or bullying.
There's no harassment going on right now.
Yeah, and I certainly don't feel bullied. So anyway, whatever. TikTok is dumb sometimes. Anyway, so you're saying that you think that if Jesus really existed, then that means that that the claims about him in the Bible were true. The problem with that is that by that logic, we would then have to say that because Joseph Smith really existed as a real person, then all the claims in the Book of Mormon are true. But obviously, like, do you believe that the Book of Mormon is true?
No.
Right. So if Joseph Smith actually existed, but there are supernatural claims associated with him that aren't true, then that means that it could be the case that Jesus really existed, but the supernatural claims that were associated with him, aren't real, right? Just because the person existed doesn't mean the supernatural claims associated with them are true. That's what you're supposed to be demonstrating, is that the supernatural claims are true.
Okay. I have a question. Where do you think, since you don't believe in no God, so this is a real question. What do you believe we go when we die?
I think it's exactly the same as it was before we were born.
So we get like reborn? Like what do you mean? What are you trying to say?
No, it's just like it was before we were born. Before I was born, I just didn't exist. I didn't have any thoughts. I didn't have any feelings. I didn't have any experience. I just didn't exist. And after I die, as far as I can tell, it'll be the same. I will no longer exist. I won't have any thoughts or feelings or experiences because I won't exist anymore.
But there has to be something. And
that's the claim. Why should we think that there has to be something?
Because if there wasn't something, you wouldn't be here right now.
Oh, I thought you meant there has to be something in terms of like there has to be something like like a god or whatever. I agree that something necessarily exists because it seems like something can't come from nothing, but there is something, which means there must have always been something. It must just be the case that there has to be something. That's the only explanation for the fact that there isn't nothing. So since we can safely conclude that there has to be, something has to exist, there couldn't be nothing, then it's not a mystery that something exists and we don't have nothing.
I see. You're a very, very intelligent person, I can tell.
Well, Green, what I like about you is that you're actually engaging and trying to have the conversation. We may not agree, and maybe we'll never agree, and that's fine. But I sincerely appreciate that you're actually having the conversation with me. So thank you for that.
I'm about to get out of here. I just want to say one more thing, man. I would just say this. You can believe what you want, bro, but at the end of the day, I would be a Christian. Like, if you don't, not for me, but just be safe than sorry.
Yeah, that's just Pascal's wager, because what you're saying is like, oh, like what if you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. But what if you're wrong about the Muslim God, right? What if you spend your whole life being Christian and then you end up in Muslim hell because the Quran was true? Like,
look,
the only way that you can prevent that from happening is by living as a Muslim. But then what if the Norse religion is true, and then because you lived your life as a Muslim, you end up in the Norse hell because you didn't die in battle? Well, so then what you got to do is make sure that you die in battle so you can go to the Norse heaven. But then, oh shit, what if the Christian religion is true? Now, because you were out there fighting, looking for battles all the time, and you died in battle, you end up in hell because you weren't dedicating your life to what the Christian God wanted you to do. So I guess you better believe in Christianity. But oh, fuck, what if Islam is true? Well, then you're going to end up in the Muslim hell. And you see how, like, and obviously we could add a ton of other religions in here. The thing is, Green, there is no possible way to live your life that would allow you to avoid every possible hell that's ever been proposed. So the only thing that you can do is just do your best to live honestly, to engage with the world honestly, and to try to believe things that are true. And then if there is a God, as long as that God is good, it will judge you based on your intentions and your actions. And if it turns out that there's a God and that God is a dick, why would you want to spend eternity in heaven with him anyway?
I like what you're saying, but you at least gotta believe in one thing, though. Like,
I believe in lots of things. I believe in the computer in front of me. I believe in this mouse here. I believe in my headphones.
Religion. Like,
there's no reason that anyone has to believe in a religion.
But at least believe in one thing. Don't believe in nothing. Because if you believe in
I don't believe in nothing. I'm telling you, I don't believe in nothing. I believe in lots of things. There's no need for a religion. All religion does is sell you is tell you that you have a disease so that it can sell you a cure. That's what Christianity is. Christianity says, "Oh, you're a sinful person and you'll go to hell, but we have the way to stop you." Well, if you didn't believe in Christianity, you would never need their cure for hell. Same thing with Islam. If you don't believe in the Muslim hell, then you have no reason that you need to pray to Allah or to revere Muhammad or any of that stuff, because the threat isn't real. So what I'm saying here is that, like, unless you actually have a reason to think that the Christian hell is real, there is no reason to take actions to avoid it. It's like, do you lay awake at night worrying about whether or not you go to Muslim hell?
No.
Right. Because you're not afraid of Muslim hell at all, are you?
No.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I feel about Christian hell. I'm not afraid of it at all because I have no reason to think that it exists. Like, are you, if a bear showed up in your house, that would be scary as fuck, right? Especially if it's like charging at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you afraid of the bear in your house right now?
No, because there's no air in my house.
Exactly. If it was real, it would be scary. But there's no reason to be scared because you don't have a reason to think that it's real. That's what I'm saying about all this God stuff. And then as far as religion, I don't see any reason why anybody needs to believe in religion. The best thing that you can ever get from it is community, but there's easy ways to get community without believing in religion.
Like I said, very smart, man. I agree with some of the stuff you saying. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna leave. I gotta go do something. But to everybody in the chat, y'all can, and you Aaron, y'all can believe. Y'all can believe.
We're not going to believe just to believe, Green. I appreciate you. I think we've had a good conversation. If you come up with some kind of argument or evidence, like if you're thinking about this stuff and you come up with something, feel free to come back in a couple weeks, a couple months or something, okay?
All right.
All right, take care.
God bless.
And he had to throw it in at the end. Okay. Got to get my notes down. Good times. Yeah, I agree, Colette. Indoctrination is a powerful thing. You know what? I forgot to shave my head because I was working on a bunch of other stuff before the stream, and now my head is all, I don't know, it's weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. This is one day of stubble. All right, so if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, please make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Tim. How old are you?
Hello. I'm 39.
And
I'm a 39-year-old atheist. I grew up Catholic.
You're an atheist?
Recent, I would say, over the last few years.
Okay. Well, I'm just doing debates with people who believe in God, okay?
But I do have a support for religion.
Okay, well, we're not going to be doing devil's advocate or LARPing, so I'm going to move on to the next person, and I hope you have a good one. Hi, Joji.
Hello?
How old are you?
27.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
I do.
All right. Which God do you believe in?
Christian. Jesus.
Okay. All right. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
I usually go for like Dr. Frank Turk or Wes Huff's kind of interpretation of things, a little bit of like teleological, cosmological, moral arguments, but I mean, I know obviously there's a lot of, holes in those things,
Yeah, so what I don't want you to do, Joji, is talk about other people or other arguments. I don't need the meta. I don't need the analysis of the, landscape of the theistic debate. I just need you to present the argument or evidence you want to discuss.
Well, the evidence that I want to discuss from what I've seen and stuff is more so personal experience than it is.
Okay, well, we're not going to do personal experience. I'm so sorry that you thought that you were going to get to talk about that. We're not going to do personal experience. If you want to talk about something that is related to personal experience, what you would need to do is give me some kind of epistemic tool that I can use to determine whose interpretations of their personal experiences are reliable and whose interpretations of their personal experiences are not reliable. Do you have a tool like that I can use?
What do you mean by the epistemic tool?
I'm sorry. Epistemology just means the study of knowledge. So an epistemic tool would just be like a thing that I can use to know something, right? So if I'm looking for the tool that I can use, the methodology that I can appeal to So like, let's imagine that I have 5 people standing in front of me. They're all telling me that their own personal experiences, and each of them tells me a different conclusion that they've drawn based on their personal experience. Now, if I know that not all of them can be true because the 5 stories that I'm being told, or the 5 conclusions they've drawn from their stories, are contradictory, then at most only one of them can be true. But it's also possible that none of them are true. So what is the tool or methodology that I can turn to that would help me determine which person has drawn the correct conclusion from their experience, if any?
So you're talking about, in my personal experience, you want to try and find the tool that's best used to determine why my personal experience is something that's valid or rational?
No, I'm asking for the tool that you would use to determine that you what the cause of your experience was, what the explanation for your experience is.
Okay, yeah, because I used to be former atheist, actually, for most of my childhood.
Okay, well, that tells me that you're a liar. So, I mean, don't do
What do you
that,
mean?
please. Well, no apologist who comes up here and says, I used to be an atheist, is ever telling the truth. And 100% of the people who do that end up crashing out. So I'm predicting now that you're going to end up crashing out because you just gave me the biggest red flag for someone who's going to lose their shit in about 10 minutes. Okay, so
No, I'm
here's
not
what I
gonna
need. Here's
lose
what I need you to do,
anything.
Joji. I just need you
Okay.
to tell me the methodology for determining the proper interpretation of your personal experience.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means. Like,
Okay, well then you don't
honestly
have a
don't know
way.
what
Then
that
you don't have a
means.
way to you have no way to support the conclusion that you drew from it.
Why?
Because in order for it to be reasonable to believe whatever conclusion you've drawn about your personal experience, you would have to be able to show that that is the correct conclusion to draw from that personal experience. That would
Okay,
require the type of epistemic tool that I'm asking about.
So, would it suffice if I said the thing that made me turn into something that believes in something supernatural was something that I felt like was logically, like I couldn't logically explain it, if that makes sense?
No, because that would be saying the reason that you became a theist is a logical fallacy, and that would be really, really dumb. So I don't recommend that you do that. Then you would just be exposing to everybody how stupid you are.
I mean, I don't care about exposing myself as stupid or anything, if that's what you mean.
I mean, if you want to destroy your own ethos, I guess. But what I'm saying is, I'm not interested
What's
in
an
discussing.
ethos?
I'm not interested in discussing your logical fallacies. I'm interested in discussing arguments or evidence. Do you have anything like that?
I mean, I guess the overwhelming historical accuracy, or like the manuscripts. There was a lot of manuscripts. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, when people talk about there's a lot of manuscripts, all they're really talking about is that there are a lot of copies of New Testament books. Like, just because a lot of people wrote down or created copies of the Gospels back in the medieval period has nothing to do with whether any of the stories in the Gospels are true. It's like if I sat down today and I had a copy of a book from 700 years ago, and then I just made a shitload of copies of that book. Do you think that there's a certain number of copies that I could make that would make the claims in the book believable?
No, because
Right.
you
So it's
can
not the
cross-
number. So it's not the number of copies of a story that makes the story believable, right?
No, you can cross-reference the copies though.
Okay. So let's imagine that I copy, this 700-year-old book. I make 10,000 copies of it, and every single one is identical to
No.
all the others. They're 10,000 perfect copies. Now, does that give us reason to believe in the claims in that book?
It's not 700 years old though. It's 2000.
I don't care. Let's say I have a 3,000-year-old book, and somebody 2,000 years ago made 10,000 copies of it. Should we now believe what's in that 3,000-year-old book based
But
on the
that's
fact of how
not-
many copies were made?
That's not the reality of it though.
That's what's happening in your situation. You're saying there's so many manuscripts. When people talk about there's so many manuscripts, all they're really referring to is how many copies there are of the New Testament books. That's all the so many manuscripts means. It's just there's a lot of copies. A lot of copies of a story. Like, think about how many copies there are of Harry Potter books out there. That doesn't mean that Harry Potter is true. There's so many different copies, so many editions. There's kids' versions and adults' versions. There's hardcovers and paperbacks. and there's digital copies, and there's handwritten. I'm sure somebody out there has handwritten out a bunch of copies of Harry Potter. Like, there's so many different things. Somebody's probably crocheted a copy of Harry Potter. Like,
But
there's so much out there.
That doesn't mean that they make a bold truth claim. Though.
Yeah, I know.
Harry
That's
Potter
because
doesn't
the
make a
number of
bold truth
copies,
claim.
the number of copies of a claim has nothing to do with the truth of the claim. So what I'm asking for is whether or not there's actually evidence for the claim, not for you to just say that people copied the claim down a bunch.
Well, it claims very boldly that Jesus died. And
I don't really
resurrected.
care what it claims. Do you think that how many times a claim has been copied has any impact on the believability of the claim?
No, but it makes it real though. It's real because it doesn't matter how.
I know that
many
people
or how
really made the
little or
claim.
how everything like
Joji, I just need you to
real
give me
is-
a direct yes or no answer. Does the number
Why?
of times a
Why
claim...
should I fall into your box though?
Okay, so now
See what
here
I'm
comes the
saying?
crash out that I predicted earlier.
No, I'm not gonna crash out.
You're doing it right
but-
now because you're refusing to engage, and if I push you on engaging, you're gonna crash the fuck out, or you're just gonna
I'm not
leave
gonna
because you're
crash
embarrassed.
out, and I'm not gonna leave.
Okay,
either.
so
I'm
then
not
actually,
embarrassed, bro.
okay, so then present the
Like, I'm
evidence.
just genuinely interested.
Give me the actual evidence then. Stop with this bullshit. Just
So
because
what's your
something's
evidence against?
okay, so there you go. So now all you're gonna do is shift the burden. So you have nothing. This is what I'm saying.
Because I'm not a major debatist.
I don't
know all the
care.
ins and outs and
Either you have some evidence or argument or you don't. Which is it?
intricacies.
Which is it?
What?
Either you have some evidence or argument or you don't. Which of those
What?
two is the case?
I told you I have personal experience and I
Okay,
have
so that's not an evidence. That's
general
not evidence, and that's not an
knowledge.
argument. So do you have any
I
evidence
don't
or
have-
argument?
Like I said, you corner me into this box.
I'm asking you a yes or no question, Joji. Prove to everybody that you at least have a high enough intelligence to be able to understand how yes or no questions work. Do you have any argument or evidence for God?
Maybe.
Okay, well, fair enough. Exactly how Obelisk predicted from the beginning. Maybe. If you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Stephen. How old are you?
57.
Okay. Do you believe in a God?
Yeah, I do. I'm an evangelical Christian.
Okay. And what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God?
I'm just curious. I'm not going to get really... well, the Kalam cosmological argument, curious what you think about that.
I think it's a horrible argument that no one has ever given any reason to think to give any credence to.
Yeah, so I'd like to hear... I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's a deductive syllogism, basically, so I'm nervous. But, you know, the basic premise, not one, is everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause. That's it. So, which one of those? So, if both premises are true, then the conclusion is it must be true. It's a valid argument. So, unless the two premises, one of the two premises, is false or is not true, then that would falsify the conclusion. So, and I'm not saying the cause has to necessarily be "quote unquote" God, but I'm just curious what you think about it, because you sound pretty rational, logical guy.
Yeah,
which I appreciate.
Yeah, my opinion on it hasn't changed since you asked me a minute and a half ago. The argument is horrible. It does nothing. Neither premise is it's literally impossible to support either of the two premises. And when you only have two premises in your argument and both are impossible to support, that's a recipe for a really bad argument. And as I've discovered in the past, even if I grant you the entire argument, you're not going to be able to do anything from there. All you're going to do is just claim that the cause has to be God, and then we're just going to run around in circles.
No. I'm a little more open-minded than that. Trust me.
Well, so then what I would want you to do is just demonstrate premise 2.
Okay, no, which one do you disagree with? The universe? The Big
I
Bang?
disagree with both, but I'm asking you to demonstrate premise 2.
Okay, by science, for let's say the Big Bang. right?
Nope, the Big Bang has nothing to do with the universe beginning to exist. So you need to appeal to something that has to do with the universe beginning to exist.
So yeah, well, you don't agree that the Big Bang, that science. What is the definition of the Big Bang, or what do scientists believe the Big Bang is?
Yeah, the Big Bang is just about the expansion of the universe from a hot, dense state. It has nothing to do with whether there was a beginning of time. And the reason that I say that is this.
Yeah, I would
Excuse me.
disagree with that. I think
This survey, well, you're disagreeing with science then, Stephen. You can't appeal to science and then disagree with what the scientists say. So what I'm showing on the screen right now is the results from a survey that was done. It was released earlier this year, and about 1,700 physicists and cosmologists responded. And when asked what the meaning of the Big Bang is, the majority response was the Big Bang is a theory that says the universe evolved from a hot, dense state that says nothing about whether there was an absolute beginning of time or not. That's the overwhelming majority. As you can see on the screen, 68% of the almost 1,700 people who responded said that's the case, that it has nothing to do with the universe having a beginning or not. So if you're trying to demonstrate that the universe had a beginning, you would need to appeal to something other than the Big Bang.
Okay. Okay. This is good. So, do you believe the universe had a beginning?
No, I reject that the universe began to exist. So why should we believe that the universe began to exist?
Okay. How about a philosophical argument that philosophically it's impossible for discrete, like for time had to have a beginning. Hubble even said, I think it was Hubble. No, it wasn't Hubble.
What's the philosophical argument that time had to have a beginning?
Well, because we wouldn't be able to get to today. There cannot be a discrete.
That's not true.
There cannot be. How is it possible to get to today? How do you jump out of a bottomless pit? Another way to think about it.
You don't.
It's
That's not what's being said. That's you're misrepresenting the situation here. No, hold on, Stephen. Okay, calm down. I need you to just take a breath.
Sure.
Let's try to both have the same conversation here. So, what is the philosophical argument that time must have had a beginning?
You cannot go back, and it's an absurdity.
So this is just stating your claim again. I'm not asking you to state your claim again. I'm asking for the justification for the claim.
That's why I'm throwing that back at you. Like, how is it possible?
That's not a justification for the claim either.
How is it possible?
So what is the justification for the claim that time had to have a beginning?
That it's not possible.
Okay, demonstrate that it's not possible.
I just did.
How? You didn't.
Time cannot go back infinitely.
That's the claim. How do you demonstrate that that's true?
Okay. Like jumping out of a bottomless pit. We would never be able to get to today if time goes back.
That's the claim again. So Stephen, do you understand the difference between making a claim and providing support for the claim?
I have a master's degree in philosophy, so
No, you don't, Stephen.
Yes, I do.
No,
I actually do.
You clearly don't.
No, you don't know me, man.
I mean, if you did, you would be doing way better than this, my guy. All right, name 5 living philosophers.
Living philosophers?
Yeah.
Well, I know some Christian ones. William Lane Craig.
No, 5 living publishing philosophers in academia.
Yes, William Lane Craig.
No, 5 living publishing philosophers in academia.
Yes, I just told you. Yes,
yeah, William Lane Craig doesn't publish in academia. Name 5 living philosophers who publish in academia. Okay, what's the last academic journal that William Lane Craig published in?
Probably Journal of Philosophy. I don't know. I'm not keeping up on things. But hang on. But I do know. Hartshorne. I studied Kant, but he's not living.
Yeah, Kant is a little ways away from living.
He is with Hume.
Hume is also not alive. You think Hume is alive?
No, I know. But you're trying to challenge me, which is
no,
good.
Because Stephen, if you had a master's degree in philosophy, if you even had if you had even taken like an entry-level philosophy course, you would know a ton of living philosophers.
Well, I mean, you could look at my LinkedIn. You would know that I did. I have a.
So far, you've named one philosopher I've never heard of that might be alive.
William Lane Craig. You never heard of him?
No, you said Hartshorne.
Give me a minute. Hartshorne, and then I'm sorry. I'm really nervous. That's why. But let's see.
Oh, okay. And this is a guy who also died over 20 years ago. So you've named 0 living philosophers so far.
Look, okay. Well, let's just deal with the argument.
So far, okay. So you can admit that you don't have a master's in philosophy, right?
I'll come back, huh?
You'll admit that you don't have a master's in philosophy, right? Because
No,
otherwise,
do.
I don't think that we can move on.
I do.
I mean, you obviously don't. Like, Stephen,
Why would
the
you say-
longer
why would
you
you-
continue
I do have a
pretending,
master-
the longer you
I
continue
went to Trinity
pretending.
Evangelical Divinity School, and I have a master's degree in the philosophy of religion and history of Christianity.
Okay, so you don't have a master's in philosophy. You
Yes, I
have
do.
you have a like a participation certificate from
No, I have
a degree mill.
Legitimate MA.
Uh-huh.
Look me up. You look me up on LinkedIn or whatever.
Okay, well, how can we look you up on LinkedIn?
Just Stephen W. Bird.
Okay. Well, and also, like, are you saying that no one has ever lied on LinkedIn before?
Well, you can trust. I know you have no reason not. I know you have no reason to believe or not believe me, but
Well, I have no. There's a bajillion Stephen Bergs. I have no idea which Stephen Berg.
Stephen W.
I wrote that, and there's all it's telling me is 8,000 Stephen Bergs.
Yeah. No. It's LinkedIn. Whatever the end part of it is, Stephen W. Bird. But I'm glad you asked me this question.
Yeah, so I mean, it's obvious that you don't have like any legitimate credentials in philosophy. I'm a idiot. I've read like 4 philosophy books total, and I know more philosophy than you do. That's that says a lot.
Well, you may or may not. I mean, I'm 57, so it was like 30 years ago I got my degree, so I'm not necessarily keeping up on things.
Mm-hmm.
But this is my favorite.
Okay, so we have completely pivoted away from the Kalam. You're supposed to be providing any kind of argument or evidence that the universe began to exist, and so far the best you've been able to do is, well, it must have begun because time can't be infinite. And then when I ask you why can't time be infinite, you just say, time can't be infinite. The universe must have had a beginning.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I asked you. I mean,
No, don't ask me questions. Don't ask me questions. Just give me the justification for time needing a beginning.
Because it's absurd for it not to have.
Yeah, if it was absurd, then you would be able to point out the problem with an infinite past. Go ahead.
Which I did.
No, I haven't heard it yet.
What would you consider a legitimate rationale for me to prove to you that time cannot go back infinitely?
So you're asking me to give the argument for you?
No, man. What would satisfy your?
I would take a deductive syllogism.
Okay, so that's good. So let's say that So in other words, the conclusion would be therefore time cannot go back infinitely.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is great. Thanks. I'm honestly an open-minded guy. I seriously am, but I've never been challenged by this before. That's why I jumped in on here. Do you mind if I come back to another time?
I guess, but my issue here, Stephen, is like, I don't know. I'm
just doing this as an intellectual exercise for me to challenge my own thinking, because I've always been one-sided in listening to this. I've never actually had an argument with an atheist like this before. So, and I see a bunch of guys like you on here. So I was like, I should really jump in and sharpen my own skills. So,
well, here's what I'm going to recommend to you, Stephen. I'm going to recommend, because I can tell that you like William Lane Craig.
Right.
All theists who run the Kalam are, Craig stands.
He's championing.
Well, I mean, he's the one that brought it to prominence. He still is out. I mean, he's been running that one argument for 50 years. So yeah, he's pretty good at
and
it.
I know him personally, actually, too.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He's a great guy. He's a really nice guy.
I don't believe you. I believe that about as much as I believe you have a master's in philosophy. So what I recommend is that you look up the recent debate between William Lane Craig and Alex Malpass, your favorite thinker and my favorite thinker, duking it out.
Alex who?
Malpass, Malpass.
I may have already heard that. Yeah. Was he the arrogant guy that I...
Arrogant? No, Alex Malpass is not arrogant.
Okay, I'll do that. Sounds good.
Highly recommended. All right, have a good one. You wait a couple weeks, a couple months, come back another time.
What is your name again? I guarantee you I do have a master's. I'll prove that to you too.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later. Take care.
Yep, take care. If that guy has a master's in philosophy, then I have a doctorate. All right. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, please make sure that you're 18 plus and you have some kind of argument or evidence that will provide rational justification to believe in a God. Exactly, Sober. You get it. Hi, Mowgli. How old are you?
18. How you doing?
Doing just fine. Do you believe in a God?
I believe that there is a God, and I've questioned it many times, but I have one question for you. Do you think something can be created from nothing?
Which God do you believe in?
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
I believe that he is my Lord and Savior.
I don't currently have any reason to hold the position that something can come from nothing. What would you say is the best argument or evidence that would give us rational justification to believe in a God?
I mean, just being here in general.
Why wouldn't we be here if there was no God?
Is aligned perfectly. If gravity was 1%.
Oh, so you want to give the fine-tuning argument? Is that right?
Well, I mean, it just makes more sense, to be honest, to give that type of argument, right?
Okay, well, I disagree. So there's two ways that we can move forward here, Mowgli. I'll give you the option to choose. Either you can present the fine-tuning argument and defend it, or I will present an argument against fine-tuning, and I will have to defend it. So your call who you want to have the burden of proof here.
To be honest, I didn't come here to just come back and forth. I will pray for you tonight before I go to bed, obviously, but...
So you don't want to even have the debate?
No, I mean, obviously not. And you said yourself you can't even explain that something can't be created
explain
from
what?
nothing.
Yeah, I'm not... Something from nothing has nothing to do with my position. Obviously...
There has to be a creator, right?
No, of course not. And again, I'm happy to discuss fine-tuning since that's the argument that you wanted to talk about. And I'm giving you the option whether you want to present the fine-tuning argument and defend it, or if you want me to present an argument against fine-tuning and I will have to defend it. Or I guess if you want to just run away, you could run away.
I mean, I'm not running away. I'm really...
You came here to a debate live, and then you were brought up to debate, and as soon as it got time to debate, you're running away.
Not necessarily. I just came up here to ask you a question, and I listed that in the comment section.
I'm not... Look, you think I read the comments? You think I read the comments? I got mods for that, my guy.
I mean, it's all good, bro.
Okay,
God
so you
bless
don't
you,
want to. So you don't want to debate. So you're saying that you actually have no reason to believe in God, and so you would rather
Not true at all.
you would
Not true
rather
at all.
run away instead of providing a reason.
That's not what I said at all.
Oh, okay. Well, then what's the reason to believe in God? Or do you want to talk about fine tuning and I can give an argument?
Something cannot physically be created from nothing.
Yep, and that is compatible with there being no God. So that has nothing to do with whether a God exists.
How?
How? Well, do you want to
How is
discuss
that
an argument or not?
compatible?
Do you want to have a debate or
Well,
not?
How is that compatible with God at all?
Because everything just necessarily exists. The universe just necessarily exists. It couldn't fail to exist. There never was nothing. There couldn't ever be nothing. Nothing is an incoherent concept. So obviously there was always something. So the something that always existed didn't have to come from anywhere. So there is no need for something from nothing. Now you're saying the reason that we should believe in a God is because of the fine-tuning of the universe. And so I'm offering you the option to either defend the fine-tuning argument or I will defend an argument against fine-tuning.
I came on here just to ask that question. You have a good
You're
night.
a coward. Fair enough. Fair enough. Coward. All right. So yeah, if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Jim. How old are you?
I am 61, brother. How you doing?
Doing all right. What God do you believe in?
I believe in Jesus Christ, my personal Lord and Savior.
Okay. And what
Through
would you say?
faith, through faith, through faith.
Okay, well, faith is meaningless, and we're not going to discuss faith. So what would you say is the best argument or evidence that would
Can
provide
we
rational
discuss-
justification to believe in a God?
I'm saying, but you could use the word "what if," sir. What if there was? Can I ask you this? Where do we go when we die?
So do you have any argument or evidence, or no?
I got evidence. I got. You could go where Jesus' tomb was.
Okay.
Right there.
How
got
did
the
you
tomb of
confirm?
Jesus
How
Christ.
did you confirm where Jesus' tomb was?
It was in the Bible. And
Nope, it's not listed in the Bible. The Bible doesn't give coordinates for his tomb. How did you determine where his tomb?
I mean, let me ask you this: why take someone's faith if
You don't have to ask me questions to provide the evidence for your position. So, what's the evidence for your
The
position,
evidence
Jim?
is the Bible. Everything that's happening everything that was said in the Bible, in the Old Testament and New, it's happening right now.
Okay, so you don't actually have any evidence, right?
No, I have all the evidence. I got the Bible. Everything in the Bible is happening right now.
I mean, that's the claim.
And why take away something that's good? Everything.
Why should I believe that? Why should I believe that that a God exists in the first place?
But what if you were wrong?
What if you
Is
were
that a
wrong?
chance to take to lose
What if
your
you were
eternity?
wrong? What if you were wrong and there's a God who exists, but he only lets atheists into heaven and he tortures believers in a hell that's 10
The
million
Bible-
times
the
worse
Bible
than the
doesn't
Christian
say
hell?
that. Well, common sense is love, brother, and the Bible doesn't.
Okay,
say
so
that.
you
The
don't
Bible's
actually
about
want to
love.
engage in a conversation?
Absolutely.
Okay, so here's the
I
options,
think you're-
Jim.
I love you, brother. I love
Jim,
you. I love
Jim,
you. Jesus told me I had to.
Jim,
What?
we can make out later. Just focus right now. What I need you to do is provide some kind of argument or evidence that would justify a belief in a God. Can you do
The
that?
Bible. If you read the Bible, you
Okay,
would
the
know.
Bible is the claim, Jim. I need you to provide an argument or evidence.
The evidence is what if we were wrong? Why
Okay, that's
take
a
that
question.
chance?
That's a question. What's the argument or evidence? This is the
The
last
evidence-
time I'm
Thank
asking.
you. Why do you buy car insurance? You don't
Okay,
gotta get
fair
into
enough.
that.
So it doesn't have anything. Had nothing. I don't remember what he said about. He did say something weird about common sense, but I don't remember what it was. Oh yeah, thanks Bradley. Yeah, I did hit 3,000 followers, which is fucking awesome. So thanks everybody for the follows. Yeah, just got over 3,000 yesterday actually. And I know I was thinking about this because back in like December, January, February, I was like trying to find theist lives to go up on and debate so that I could get 50 followers so that TikTok would let me do a live. And literally when I got to my 50th follower from doing a debate in some random live stream, I immediately set up and started doing my first live streams. That was the end of February. And here we are 4 months later at 3,000 followers. Typically, 120 to 170 viewers regularly. I feel so grateful to have the support from all of you, to have, people who are joining the Discord. Speaking of which, I'll throw that up on the screen here in case anybody is interested in joining. You can go to my YouTube, youtube.com/@OgarDebates, and then join the Discord, tinyurl.com/OgarDebates. And people joining the Discord, people joining as like super fans here on TikTok to get access to the extra resources. I was talking to Lupine about this actually, about how like, I don't know, just how grateful I am and how much it blows me away the amount of support I've gotten. So I don't know how to say it enough, but thank you everybody. And speaking of which, thank you everyone who's been supporting on this stream. Shit, I've missed a bunch. Sorry everybody. Poopman Jones, Lupine, Sober, Y Quinn, Ken Vorland. Holy shit, Ken, thank you. That's a bunch of stuff. Jaden, awesome to see you, Jaden. Angry Neeson, thank you so much for the support, sincerely. Lem, shit, even Logan, it looks like. Holy fuck. But yeah, thank you everybody. I sincerely appreciate it. Worship the guy on my shirt? Nah. If I was gonna worship Pinhead, it would not be the Doug Bradley version. Have any of you ever seen the 2022 remake of Hellraiser with Jamie Clayton as the as Pinhead, the Hell Priest? Oh my god. Let me see here. All right, but we'll move on to the next person. If you're 18 plus, yes, Eunice the universe farting unicorn, we've got her. She's here with us, of course. She never goes away. But okay, I'll bring up the next person. If you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Logan.
What's up, Booger?
You have anything of substance for me this time?
Yeah, man. I just wanted to say thank you for your lives, man. It's really opened up my eyes a lot. But I got a question for you, my man. when humans die, do you believe that there's an afterlife, or what do you think that happens in the afterlife? Like, what happens to humans?
I don't have any reason to think it'll be any different than before I was born.
No.
Before I was born, not existence was nothingness, right? For me. I had no experiences, I had no thoughts, I had no feelings. And as far as I can tell, it'll be the same when I'm dead.
That's fair. And like, I got another question for you, man. Since I know you don't believe in God, did you ever believe in God at one point of your life?
Yeah, I actually have a TikTok video up that I go over my deconversion because people ask me about it all the time. I don't think it's relevant what I believe or used to believe, but it is something I get asked.
What made you flip, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I do discuss that. I've discussed it a bunch of times on here. Essentially, I just gave myself permission to think honestly about the truth. And as soon as I started honestly thinking about the truth, I realized that I had no reason to believe in God.
No, that's fair enough, man. And like, I've read the Bible a lot of times, and like, I think back to like how many times it's been rewritten. Like, nobody is ever going to know the truth, you know, unless God himself, if he's real, comes down. So like, if that was the case, would you believe?
If what specifically was the case?
You've heard of like Jesus coming back, right? How the trumpets are going to be blown and all that. Like, if that was the case, like if that legitly happened, would you believe in God? Like, if God like proved himself, came on earth, showed himself, would you believe?
Not just because like somebody claiming to be Jesus showed up, even if they did some awesome stuff, because the problem is like I would have no way to tell the difference between, you know, like advanced alien technology or a time traveler or, you know, any number of other things that it could be. Obviously, I would have to say something is going on here that I can't explain, and I don't know what the explanation is. I don't know what the answer is or why this is happening. But just not knowing why something is happening isn't enough justification to form a conclusion.
That's valid, man. That's valid.
And I think that there's this idea going around called awesome theistic evidence. I don't know if you're familiar with Miles Donahue. He talks about this a lot. And I just think this idea that like, oh, if we woke up one day and looked into the sky and the Gospel of John was written out in the stars, should we believe in God? Or like the idea being that any atheist who denies that that's compelling evidence for God has something wrong with them, or like they're being too harsh. But my issue is if we woke up and saw the Gospel of John written in the stars, all we would know is that something we aren't aware of caused that. Like, we don't know how it got caused. And again, there's no way for us to know if it's like aliens that are fucking with us. There's no way to know if it's any number of things that it could be. There's a what was the oh, okay. So like, let's say let's just say like we got some kind of message from space and we don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
Even if it had features to it that seemed intentional, that alone wouldn't give us reason to draw a conclusion about what sent the message. You know, it could be aliens. It could be time travelers. It could be some astronaut just fucking with us. I mean, there's a million different things that it could be.
And I agree with you, because I mean, like 10% of the ocean's been discovered. So I mean, we never know.
Well, there's no way for us to know the things that we don't know. And when the answer to a question is I don't know, that can never be justification to then draw a conclusion.
Yeah, like with humans, how do you think we evolved? I want to know your thoughts on that.
Just evolution.
How do you think we evolved?
Yeah, we just evolved. I don't know what you mean. How did we evolve? We evolved through random mutation and natural selection.
How that occurred though? Like what caused that?
I don't think anything caused it. I think it's just the way things work.
I mean, you can't make something out of nothing, you know, right?
Right, and I'm not suggesting something out of nothing.
That's valid, but like, how do you think we evolved? Like, how do you think evolution even like became a thing? Like, how did humans even like get on Earth?
Yeah, humans came onto Earth when a population of Homo erectus evolved into Homo sapiens. Or if you mean like humans as in Homo in general, well, then that would be even further back in the evolutionary chain when the first, non-Homo ancestors evolved, a population of our most recent non-Homo ancestors evolved into, I don't know if it was like Homo heidelbergensis, which was first.
How do you think those Homo people evolved though?
Yeah, the same way as anything else evolves. It's just
how did it evolve though.
Okay, so if you just want to know how evolution works, then I just recommend that you look up people like Forrest Falki or Gutsick Gibbon, and get some education from people who actually research and you know.
Yeah, I'm asking you, Ogre. Like, I'm all open ears, man.
Yeah, I'm not an expert.
Like,
I would never claim to be an expert on biology or evolution. So if you want to learn about biology and evolution, you should go to people who are experts on those things, so you don't get misinformation from some fat idiot on TikTok.
How do you feel about the Big Bang Theory? Because I know a lot of people believe in that.
Yeah, it seems like it's true, and it doesn't give us any reason to believe that the universe had a beginning or in a god. But I'm not really here to do 20 questions. Do you have any argument or evidence that you want to discuss?
I was just asking you, man.
Okay, well,
Just
I'm
ask
saying,
you.
yep. I'm not. This isn't a Q&A. It's not 20 questions. I'm trying to have debates here.
And I was trying to have a debate with you as well, Ogre. I want to see your thought process.
Okay, well, this isn't a debate. A debate would be that we both pick a position and then we debate those positions.
I asked you how did evolution evolve?
Okay, well, we're not doing evolution debates here. So, do you have any argument or evidence for God?
All right. Do you have evidence disproving God, though? Where's your evidence disproving God, bro? Because you could go to Jerusalem right now. I could open up a Bible and you could look at all their history, and it proves the Bible.
No, it doesn't prove the Bible. It proves
Scientists have dug up Noah's Ark.
Logan, come on, man. You're better than this.
I'm just being real, man.
You're not being real. You're making you're
So
parroting
if
parroting
we go
Ron Wyatt bullshit is what you're doing.
If we go dig up this ark and
It's never happened. That doesn't exist. That's a lie from Ron Wyatt. That's a lie from Ron Wyatt. It's a lie from Ron Wyatt. I'm already familiar. He's the same guy that claims that he found wagon tracks or whatever on the bottom of the Red Sea when he was looking at the wrong body of water.
Let's take David's sword or David's slingshot, for example.
So
they dug that up.
I don't care about artifacts that may seem like they're connected to stories in the Bible. That's irrelevant. Do you have any arguments or evidence for God?
How you gonna disclaim
Okay,
God
so
when
I'll
you
ask you one more
God?
time, Logan. Do you have any arguments or evidence for God?
Bro, there's plenty of evidence. Go
Okay,
look
well, I'm going
at-
to take that as a
go look
no.
at
If you
sites.
do ever come back again, make sure it's with some kind of argument or evidence.
We're
Yeah, fair enough, Dwight. Fair enough. All right. So if you are in, what's up, Jaden? Yes, because you wouldn't present an argument or evidence. That means that my position is unsupported. Got it. Oh, wow. Thank you, T. That's fucking awesome. Shit. E fucking rule. All right. So if you are in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, Boside. Are you at least 18?
Yeah, 24.
Do you believe in a God?
So I come from a Roman Catholic background. I think I've separated a little from the church since then. Picked up some legacy thinkers. So I kind of come from that Spinozist kind of background. I've really enjoyed kind of picking that up and kind of reading through that. So I'd love to kind of formalize my argument around that.
Well, I'm just looking for
the God
something
of
that has to.
nature.
I'm just looking for something that has to do with like a personal, ultimate foundation to reality. I'm not looking for like this kind
Yeah.
of like deistic or maybe that's not even the right word. Whatever this like
No, and I don't even
pantheist.
think and I don't think he even really came from. You're familiar with Spinoza? Yes, no.
I'm aware
I can
of
kind
what
of-
Spinoza's God is, and that it's not what the 99% of people who appeal to it think it is. So I just need you to tell me
Sure,
what God you
sure.
actually believe in. Are you a pantheist?
To the extent that, sure. For the sake of argument, sure.
Okay. So what is the argument or evidence that a God exists?
So I would say that there's a fact of substance that we can sit and diametrically oppose each other with here. There is definitely stuff you and I that things originate out of this substance. We can call it nature. We can call it the universe. I think Spinoza's argument for back in the day, he was identifying kind
Okay,
of
so
the
this
more-
is just a whole bunch of rambling and like preamble. I need you to cut to the chase and just give the argument, please.
Yeah. So why are there things that exist when
That's a
they're
question. An
plausibly
argument doesn't
could
involve
be?
questions. So just provide the argument, please.
There are things that exist. Why do they exist?
That's a question, and arguments don't involve questions.
No, no,
Please,
no.
please provide the
I'm
argument.
stating there are things that exist.
There are
Period.
There are things that exist. Okay, and then what's the rest of the chain of reasoning that gets us to God?
So if there is an origination of that substance that distills itself into people, I don't say that we're necessarily a perfect reflection of a God.
So I don't need look both sides.
Yeah. No. I'm here with you. Sorry.
I just want you to actually give the argument. I don't need like a lesson on what you believe in. I don't need like sermons. I just the argument, bare bones, no frills, no extra stuff, nothing else. Just the argument. So nothing other than the line of reasoning that gets you from things exist to God exists. Just the points in between. That's all I need. Do not, please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you, both sides. Please do not give me anything else because it's irrelevant, okay?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so there are things that exist. I'm with you so far. What's the rest of the line of reasoning that gets us to God?
Do you think that there are other... Well,
That's
okay,
a question.
Yeah, sorry. I can't question... Yeah, I can't question you. I'm sorry.
If I was presenting my argument, if I was presenting an argument to you, what I would do is I would give you the points. Now, I may give you a point and then maybe we could discuss it if we disagree on it, but I'm not going to need to like ask you like, you know, fucking what did you have for breakfast today and what color car do you drive and you know, when did you have your first kiss?
No. I would just ask, again, I can't formalize it in a question. So I'm stating that things exist. Okay. If things exist, there is a creator to that extent. And it doesn't need to be an omniscient creator.
Okay, so
it
you need to
doesn't
demonstrate
be an
that.
all-knowing creator.
You need to demonstrate that if things exist, there's a creator. What's the argument that would conclude with that?
That would conclude with that is that, well, clearly there's a universe. Correct. We can both agree on that factual point. Within that universe, there's going to be people. I mean, we don't necessarily need people. There's going to be atoms. There's going to be, you know, he formalized his argument up from substance and separating substance. Why is it that things exist if there isn't some sort of formal creator, in your view? How is it that things became or came into fruition into today? And to give you, again, a bit of my background, too.
No background. Please, I beg of you.
Sure. All right.
So here's what I've got so far.
Yeah.
There are things that exist. That was your original point. And I said, okay, what does this have to do? Oh, this fucking stupid. I was hoping
You're
that
fine.
this was... No, my little thing that I was trying to do here is not working the way that I wanted it to, and that's annoying. But
no,
anyway.
It's showing your
Yeah,
You're static
it's
there,
static.
but I see the screen. Yeah,
anyway,
you're fine.
Anyway, so there's a universe.
Yes,
was the first point. I agree with you. Within the universe, there are people out of substances. Sure, I agree with that. And then you went to a question again. Why do things exist if there isn't a creator? And then our conclusion is supposed to be if things exist, there's a creator. But I still don't see how we got there.
So somebody makes that table. There's an A to B to it. There's an origination to it.
Right. So we know that if a thing was created, then there's a creator. Why should we think that the universe was created? Because that's your claim. Your claim is if things exist, then there must be a creator. But that's what I'm trying to get you to give an argument for, and all you're doing is just restating that claim, or you know, like saying it in different words. Like just restating the claim in different words doesn't give me a reason to believe the claim is true.
So I would ask you,
please, both sides, please, no questions.
No.
Just give me the argument.
Do you believe in the Big Bang? If there's some sort of Big Bang at the origination of the universe, we see the CMB.
No, I have no reason to think that the Big Bang has anything to do with the origination of the universe.
Okay, then how does the Big Bang come into a if it has nothing to do with the universe. Wow.
Yeah, the Big Bang is just about the universe as we know it expanding from a hot dense state. That tells us nothing about whether that's the beginning of the universe's existence or if there have been previous Big Bangs and Big Crunches in the past. We don't have any information from that. So we cannot appeal to the Big Bang as a reason to think that the universe began, and we certainly can't appeal to the Big Bang as a reason to believe in a creator. So I ask again, what is the justification for your claim that things existing necessitates a creator?
Again, to give it omniscience, and to say it's human-like in its knowledge and understanding, I think you and I both can conceptualize that that's not the case.
I don't care about what's not the case, both sides. I don't care what's not the case.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to demonstrate that your claims are true, that your claims are the case.
And then I formalized to you, and I guess you agreed with me, that you would say that everything that is created has a creator or a
right. So then you need to
line of-
demonstrate that the universe was created in order for me to believe that the universe has a creator.
which I would formalize under the Big Bang, and I think everyone
The
we
Big Bang
can't
has nothing to do
necessarily
with the universe being created. It doesn't even have to do with the universe coming into existence. So the Big Bang is
What does
irrelevant. It doesn't help you here.
exist into?
What?
It would be, what does it exist into if there wasn't a
I don't know what that
existence
means.
prior to it?
Well, how do you know if there was
you're
any
saying-
existence prior to the Big Bang?
You're familiar with the Higgs mechanism, correct?
I know a little tiny bit, but that's
Yeah,
irrelevant.
so
What
I
I'm
come from a
asking you, both
physics
sides.
background. No, but it comes back to the Big Bang then.
No, what I'm asking you is, you're saying like,
Yes.
that you think the universe came into existence at the Big Bang. What is the evidence for that?
That the universe came into existence under the Big Bang, that there is no previous evidence or even an abject point of evidence because everything is coming out of that singularity point.
Well, it's not a singularity.
Well, not in a black hole per se, but if you're
No,
looking
it's
at
just
the
a hot
Higgs
dense state.
mechanism,
It's just a hot dense state. Both sides.
temperature doesn't exist there. That's
both
you're,
sides.
you're
Both
you're
sides.
throwing
Both
temperature as
sides.
a
Both
yes,
sides.
Yes, sorry, sir. Continue.
The physicist's description of the state
Yes.
of existence, as far back as we're aware, is that it's a hot dense state that expands.
Temperature doesn't exist prior to that. Temperature is an abstract point of relational matter. There's no matter there. Matter can't have a temperature property. Sorry, I'll be abstract with you there.
That's not.
And
this
again-
isn't relevant, my guy. The way that it's
Yeah,
described
well,
by
you're-
physicists is that it's a hot dense state. All you're trying to do is get out of actually supporting your position by being pedantic. So stop being pedantic and just give me the justification for thinking that the universe came into existence at the Big Bang.
So your point in saying, and you even said yourself that,
Okay, I'm going to ask you one more time, both sides.
Yeah, yes.
And if you respond with anything other than the demonstration or the evidence for your claim, I'm just going to move on. What is the
Sir,
evidence or
I-
argument that the universe
I'll
began to
stop you
exist
there.
at the Big Bang?
I would give you the physicist's explanation. You don't want it right now. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the back and
No,
forth.
we've already discussed what physicists have to say. I've already brought this up before. The debate that Halper et al. Did shows us that the state of physics, our current state of physics or the current position in physics, I should say, is that the universe, or excuse me, the Big Bang has nothing to do with the beginning of the universe. There's no reason for us to think that the universe must have began with the Big Bang. So frustrating. Oh, hey, Sober. Yeah, I just too frustrated. I can stutter as much as I want. I can stutter as much as I want. All right. So if you're in the guest queue or thinking about joining the guest queue, make sure that you're 18 plus and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. Hi, how old are you?
35, I think.
Do you believe in a God?
Yeah.
Okay, and what would you say is the best argument or evidence? Or excuse me, which God do you believe in?
So I've heard the last like 10 minutes of
No, which God do you believe in?
last 10 minutes of your debate.
Which God do you believe in?
You want statements, correct? May I make a statement?
I want you to answer the fucking question.
Okay. Your TikTok channel was not created without you deciding.
Unbelievable. can't even say what God you believe in. All right. Good times, huh? But is this not a better camera? Is this not a better camera than the bullshit that I was dealing with the last few streams? I think this is much better. How many did I do with that camera? 3? Because I think I did like Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. Oh, I appreciate it, Sober. I just honestly like did not even want to get into the physics. Yeah, well, I thought that was going to be a decent camera. I thought it was better than the Walmart bullshit that I had. Well, I mean, obviously he was incorrect, Sober. But no, I would like to be clear about something, and I know that not everybody is going to see or hear this, but I just want to be as clear as I can be. I am not pretending to be educated. Right? Oh, hey, thank you, Kinda Odd. That's fucking awesome. Thank you. Threw you some ball. Malamute-Manchak theorem. We can never know if the universe began or not. Are you saying you sent me a message, Pensive? That's cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, I'll check it out, Pensive. But yeah, so currently, I don't remember what I was saying. I was saying something. Just how much better the camera is, that you can actually like see stuff and it's not like orange. Oh yeah, I know that. Oh, I was saying I'm not educated. I'm not educated. I'm not educated on physics. I'm not educated on fucking history. I don't pretend to be. I don't claim that I'm educated. I think I talk most about philosophy, but I don't claim or pretend to be educated on philosophy either. I did not go to college, right? I'm not pretending to be educated. People will come up here and act like if I say I don't know some philosophical concept that it's some blunder, but obviously some idiot who doesn't have an education isn't going to know everything. The problem is, what you notice is every time someone presents an argument and I can actually understand what they're saying and they don't just use a whole bunch of jargon, it's pretty easy to actually have the debate and show that they're wrong. I've done that every single time a Phil Bro has come up with some bullshit philosophical argument that's just, you know, misusing a bunch of terms that they don't understand. As soon as we get the argument in terms that everybody can understand, it's extremely easy to dismantle. Because the arguments are bad. You don't have to have a philosophical argument or a philosophical education to see that. Now, obviously, I could do better if I had a philosophical education, but I'm just trying to be clear that, like, I'm not pretending to be educated. So when you guys think that you're, like, insulting me by pointing out that I'm not educated or that I don't know something, I already know that. I'm already not claiming that. So, whatever. To whatever, you know, degree that matters, I guess. But currently don't have anybody requesting, so I think that means that we defeated all the theists. Everybody's an atheist now. Right? We're all atheists. If anybody isn't an atheist and you think you, if you're an adult and you think you have some kind of argument or evidence to, you know, provide justification to believe in God, feel free to request up. While I wait, I just want to say thank you to everybody supporting. I appreciate it immensely. Thank you to Kinda Odd for the, what is it, Tiny Diny float. That thing was cool as fuck. Thank you very much, Greenball. Ken, again, thank you so much for supporting. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody. Yeah. So yeah, currently don't have anybody any serious interlocutors at the Mexico streams. What are you talking about, Obelisk? If you're saying that you gave a Breaking Bad, or the thing that you said was a Breaking Bad reference, then I'm very embarrassed that I didn't get it because I love Breaking Bad. That's a great show. Yeah, so to request, you just, next to the text box, there will be a little icon that's like a pink and blue person, and you click on that, and then you click on request. That'll get you into the request queue, and I can bring you up. I just want to make sure that you are 18 plus, and that you have some kind of argument or evidence that would provide rational justification to believe in a God. And no, I'm not going to bring up people that I already had to drop for being incapable of having the conversation. Hi, Elizabeth. I don't know if it's worth. I don't know if it's worth doing a reset with only like 15 minutes left. Sorry if you feel like me accurately summarizing the situation is an insult. I don't know what to tell you about that. And yeah, Logan, I told you I'm not here doing a Q&A. So I'm under no obligation to answer your questions. If you want to have the debate, we can have the debate. I'm happy to do that. But yeah, like I said, currently nobody requesting. I don't know if we do a reset here. Logan, I don't believe that you can debate. Right? Hi, Fire. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Okay, and do you believe in a
and
God?
just so we can get this out of the way real quick, I don't want to debate. I just had a thought from an argument you had earlier. If you don't want to do that, that's fine.
What God do you believe
I
in?
just thought I'd do what?
What God do you believe in?
I don't believe in one. That's why I was saying, like, if you don't want to do this, we can just skip. I just thought I'd ask this question since no one else was requesting.
What's your question?
You were having an argument. I believe he was a believer in the Church of the Latter-day Saints, and he was making the point that everything aligns just right for life to exist, and if one little thing was off, then
Yeah,
life
just
wouldn't
fine-tuning.
exist.
Yep.
Yeah, and my thought of an analogy on why that logic is flawed is like, say if you find a leaf on the ground, you think of all the specific things that have to happen in order for that leaf to land in that exact spot. The wind would have to blow just right. It would have to fall at the exact right time. It would have to be the exact right shape for it to drift down and land in that exact spot. And it's like, by their logic, they would point that out and say, oh, something intelligent has placed this leaf here because too many things have come together to make
Yeah.
this leaf land in this exact spot.
The way that I always put it, or the thing that I always analogize it to, is a deck of cards. Like, I think I got... Okay. Right? I got a deck of cards here. Obviously, the number of different orders that a deck of cards can take is 52 factorial, right? That's an insane number. Like, if you and I were going to... let's say that you and I had the entire universe, the entire visible universe at our disposal, and we were each going to pick one random atom out of the entire universe. There's a better chance of us picking the same atom at random than there is of two people shuffling a deck and it ending up in the exact same order. That's how unlikely it is for a deck to end up in a specific order. Yet, after I just got done shuffling, the deck did end up in this order. So, do we say that there must have been some supernatural creator that was involved in getting the deck into this insanely unlikely order? No, of course not. It had to end up in some order, and any order it ended up in would have been equally as unlikely as all the other orders. And it's the same thing for any of the physical constants. It's the same thing for anything that's a result of that. It just, unless we have some reason to think that it was, like intended, there's no reason to think that it's special that it ended up in an unlikely configuration.
Yeah, the intent of it ending up in that configuration is the only thing that would make the odds significant.
Right, I completely agree. If I throw this deck of cards on the ground, they have to land in some order, and it's not important what order they land in unless I wrote down ahead of time the exact order that they were going to land in. Then that would be pretty cool. However, because I'm a magician, I probably could do that anyway. But
and we don't have any evidence for life having a purpose or any intent, so
yeah,
it's a moot point.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I think there's really good arguments against fine-tuning anyway, but I appreciate you, Fire, and I will let you go and hopefully get some debates going, but have a good one, man.
You too, thank you.
In fact, something that I've been thinking about here recently and gotten a little bit of help from the community, here's another thing, joining the Discord or joining, especially if you join the member level or whatever, super fan. That's what it is here on TikTok. Then you get access to, stuff that I'm working on. One of the things I've been working on is this argument. Not only I have an argument that fine-tuning is not evidence for God, there's also another argument that I think works pretty well, that fine-tuning is actually evidence against God. I don't know if anybody wants to talk fine-tuning, but I think that would be interesting. All right. I will bring up the next guest. Give me one quick second. Okay, go to here, and then okay. Oh shit. Okay. Hi, Kev. Are you still Christian?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's too bad. Do you have anything for me this time? The only note that I took from our last argument was, or our last debate was, dog shit argument. That was what I wrote down about you. You got anything better for me this time?
I don't think I've ever talked to you before.
Yep, we talked on. Oh, let me find it again. We talked on April 27th. You were the second conversation I had that stream.
What was the argument about?
All I wrote down was dog shit argument dropped for interrupting.
That's strange. Anyways, I have a question for you. Where do you believe time, space, and matter comes from?
I don't have any reason to think that they come from anywhere. Do you have any
Why not?
argument or evidence for God?
Yeah, well, that's gonna build up towards my argument. I believe that time, space, and matter is a continuum. Like, they all have to come into existence at once. They cannot exist without each other.
Oh, this is
So
the
I
same
feel like
argument you
that
gave
points-
last time. I do have my notes here. Time, space, and matter are continuism, is what you said last time.
Yeah.
Can't exist apart, have to come into existence together. And it looks like you tried to give an argument. Time, space, and matter can't exist without each other. None of them are
Exactly.
infinite. They were so they were created together. Premise 3, if they were created, God exists, therefore God exists. Do you have anything better this time? Because that's, as I wrote down in my notes, dog shit.
All then prove to me that that's wrong.
Well, you would actually need to support it, right?
Well, do you agree that they can exist without each other? Because that'd be pretty silly. That'd be pretty silly if you go against science, correct?
No, there are definitely like legitimate views in science that both space and time are emergent properties of reality, not fundamental properties. So if they're emergent, there's no reason for us to think that that space and time must emerge simultaneously. So obviously, if they don't emerge simultaneously, then it would be possible for one to exist without the other. For example, if let's say space is fundamental but time is emergent, well then obviously space can exist without time. Let's say time is fundamental but space is emergent, well then obviously time can exist without space. Let's say that they're both emergent, well then we could imagine scenarios where time emerges but space doesn't, and it exists without, it exists on its own. Or we can imagine scenarios where space emerges but time doesn't, and it exists on its own. So I don't see any reason why we would think that they all have to exist together.
Well, you can't have space without time. Can you agree on that?
Well, I mean,
That'd
that's
be
just you
pretty silly.
disagreeing with physicists, and
It's
I don't
not.
think
It's
you're
not
a physicist, so
disagreeing. I mean, it's not me disagreeing. It's just logic.
no, it's not logic. I was literally reading a paper today by Sean Carroll, and I cannot remember the name of the other author because I'm a piece of shit. But I was reading a paper today by Sean Carroll and another physicist that was from actually almost 10 years ago, like 8-9 years ago, and it was about how space and time seem to be emergent. Now, we don't know for sure that they are. We don't know for sure that they are, but we do have evidence to suggest that space and time could be emergent. And if we have evidence to suggest it, that, high-level physicists are taking seriously, then obviously it isn't the position of scientists in general, quote-unquote, that, they must all exist together. So do you have any evidence to refute what Sean Carroll has to say about it?
This is what you atheists do. You're talking hypothetically, like you just.
I'm not talking about hypotheticals. I didn't say anything about a hypothetical.
Could emerge. Yes, you did. You said could emerge. You didn't. It's not proven. It's because you're speaking hypothetically. That's all you atheists do. You live off hypotheticals. You're just like Parker.
I'm not
Dean,
talking
all
about a
of them.
hypothetical, my dude.
Yes,
your
you
position is these things must exist together, and I'm telling you that it is a position that's taken seriously in physics, that they might not
It's
need to exist
proven.
together.
And it's not proven.
Okay,
because-
but your
yeah,
position
you gotta
also
say
isn't proven.
hypothetically. Yes,
The point is that so provide the demonstration that your position is 100% correct.
I don't believe it 100%. I feel like us humans, we don't base our life.
So you're just talking. This is what you Christians always do. You only talk in hypotheticals. Brr. You see how stupid that is?
That's what atheists do. So you
Project
base your
much?
life off 100%.
So do you have anything? Do you actually have any evidence for your argument or no?
Do you base your life off 100%?
You got nothing? You got nothing then?
So you're not answering my question.
So can you yeah, because you're trying to ask questions to get out of demonstrating your argument. So do you have anything? You got anything for me?
You can't answer. See, you can't.
Yeah,
prove your
exactly.
argument.
Exactly,
You can't
because you're
prove
just
your
dying.
argument.
You're dying
How am I
to
dying?
shift the
You
burden.
can't prove your argument. You're speaking hypothetically.
I'm not speaking. So what is the demonstration? What is the demonstration that time, space, and matter cannot exist separately?
You said the physicist said it could, but it's not 100% proven. So therefore, you're speaking.
Yeah.
hypothetically.
Here we go. Here we go.
Therefore, it is
Okay.
not true.
So what you're saying is that in order for it not to be hypothetical, it has to be 100% proven?
But we can't base our life off 100%.
That was a question. Yes or no? Does it have to be 100% for it not to be hypothetical?
Yes.
Okay. So then is your argument hypothetical?
No.
Okay, so you know your argument is true 100%, right?
Yeah, it's proven by science.
Okay,
It's
so
proven
provide me the 100% proof that time, space, and matter cannot exist without each other.
I can ask you the same thing. Provide me 100% truth about the physicist, and you can't.
Okay, so now you're just running away again. So this is
I'm
just
not
like I
running
said
away.
before.
I'm
You've
not
got a
running away.
dog
I'm
shit
not running
argument.
away. What? And your
Can you
argument
support
says
your
that
argument or not?
Listen, all atheists do is speak hypothetical. You can't prove to
Okay,
me nothing.
fair
because you're
enough.
speaking
You know,
hypothetically.
you're so right. I'm just gonna go back to my hypotheticals. Unbelievable. Oh, hey, sober. I'll bring you up. Ugh. I don't know.
You can just. I don't think that guy knows what like Euclidean space is. It's like there's space. There's like spaces for us to like. Also, like the Schrodinger's equation. There's an equation that's time independent. It's like obviously we don't always have to coincide these things.
Well, I know even like I know that the Hartle-Hawking state is a live possibility for there being a first and or last moment of time that would have gone into or out of or both theoretically Hartle-Hawking state. And what a Hartle-Hawking state is literally just time dimensions breaking down to where time disappears into space, and then all there is like lower and lower spatial dimensions until it like comes out the shuttlecock.
Yeah, you pretty much it breaks down into something called imaginary time, where it gets so fun. It's kind of like a different species of an animal. It's like it's so different from what regular time is that we can't even consider it time.
Right.
So
Well,
we
yeah,
call it imaginary time.
The way that I've heard it described is that it's just the geometry of the universe, and I don't know what the fuck that means, but really smart people say it, so I assume it means something.
Yeah, what it does is it basically uses it uses the same idea of wormholes and like quantum tunneling of some kind, but it uses the geometric shape of space and instead of like actual tunneling. But it works really well, but it's a very hypothetical situation.
Yeah, definitely. We don't know that there was a Hartle-Hawking state before or after the universe, but the thing that is so strange about it is like it seems like, now I could definitely be wrong, but it seems like the options kind of are either there was a Hartle-Hawking state or time is infinite. Now I don't know, maybe there are other options.
In a sense, in a sense, because like the leading cause of expansion, obviously like a Hartle. What's weird is that expansion, it works on general relativity, right? And both those things assume a de Sitter space, which basically means that there's pre-existing fabric of space-time for this thing to cause some form of expansion. So they both kind of assume that there is some type of space-time fabric already kind of there.
So okay, I'm about to end the live, so we're going to get real nerdy here for a second. I've been reading about whether or not the universe has I guess has been described as a metaphysically privileged structure. And it sounds a little bit like what you're describing, that there would have to be some kind of like underlying structure of some sort for like everything else to kind of like emerge from or graft on or like supervene onto or something. I guess I don't know what the right.
You can have like I hold the view if it's like a weird like agnostic dualism view, but like I think like some form of wave function and some in space time is eternal. I think that's the only thing that's coherent to me.
Yeah, I don't know enough to think that like I don't know. I've just heard from physicists, not that I've had personal conversations, but just like in, reading papers or watching videos or whatever, that that it is a live possibility that we live in a B theory universe with a beginning and or end, where it would probably be something like a Hartle-Hawking state at either the beginning and or the end. So I don't know whether or not time is eternal, but I don't know. I guess what I've been really thinking about lately, because I read a paper about logical realism, and one of the things that it was really like harping on was this idea of a metaphysically privileged structure to reality. And I don't think that's something that I currently believe in.
What's that even mean?
Well, so it just is like, what do you think reality fundamentally is, right? Like, is reality like...
What's it reduced to?
Yeah, kind of. Like, is reality fundamentally just like states of affairs? Is reality fundamentally like a bunch of objects? Is reality fundamentally like, I don't know, like there's a bunch of different options that you could say reality fundamentally is this thing. And then you're saying that like this is the fundamental, like, for example, let's say that we thought that reality was just a bunch of states of affairs, and we thought that is the fundamental nature of reality. Then we would say that, okay, that there is a structure to reality in that like states of affairs are like the building blocks, and anything that is true of a state of affairs is going to be true, like universally, like everything is going to be built on those things, and that's going to be like the most fundamental truths are truths of states of affairs. The idea in this paper about logical realism being that as long as reality has that kind of like consistent structure, some kind of like privileged form of things, ways things could be at the fundamental level, then there is going to be one true logic that is the best logic that describes reality better than any other logic. And then that would basically be saying that, like, you believe that there is one true logic, which is saying that there's, objective logic made, like one true logic that is made true by correspondence to mind and language independent reality.
For me, that would be solely dependent on, let's say there's another universe, right? So some other universe that comes into existence. You would have a hard time fighting that our physics, the way it comes to be, and how everything acts, way it comes to be maybe, but and stuff like that. You'd have a hard time proving that this transition would lead to the same physics and the same result and the same level of logic. To our knowledge, there could be a wide number of things it can fall within.
Sure. Yeah, I guess, like, I don't know. There's a lot of complicated things there. My issue is, like, I thought I was going to be able to hold to a logical realist view. But what I realized is that essentially where I'm at is that, like, I think that even if we had some evidence to suggest that there is, like, a privileged fundamental structure to reality, my problem is that I think that we could only support that with induction. We could say, like, well, we've examined, 0.0000001% of the universe, and all of that portion of the universe seems to act this way. Well, I don't know that we can generalize and say that therefore reality in general has this structure. And so I think that would like be the biggest hurdle that I would.
That's actually so funny. Pensive, he came in, he's a physics student. He gave you a paper that was talking about, we'll never know if there's an absolute beginning. It's basically saying that it's kind of exactly what it's the MM theorem, which is just two authors. It's saying that if you are on a point to even determine if space-time, has an absolute beginning, or these properties within space-time are universally true, you need to be at a point outside of space-time to even make that inference. If you have light cones within your universe, right, like you can have different models that describe the same thing and you derive at the same exact answer. If you are within the universe, you can never know the true function of the universe.
That's so interesting. Okay. Well, I appreciate you nerding out with me for a bit. I think I'm gonna call the stream, but thank you for nerding out with me for a sec.
Hell yeah.
Have a good one.
See you, brother.
Okay, so thanks everybody for hanging out. Thank you for all the support. Jesus, not the real Dwight, Jelani, Y Quinn, Jelani. Yeah, thank you everybody so much for the support. I do sincerely appreciate it. As I say at the end of all my lives, just remember that tomorrow is not guaranteed. You don't know how many opportunities you have left to, give your family and friends hugs, let them know how much they mean.